This is a recorded lecture for the IB/DP Design Technology, Topic A3.1.2, and we're focused on textiles here. We need to be able to classify materials according to their source and their origin. We need to be able to discuss their advantages and disadvantages with shells and frame and solid structures, and we need to be able to classify them as natural and human-made materials. With textiles, what we want to focus on is this is a cloth or woven fabric material. So big idea here is that textiles are a cloth or woven fabric material, and it's an ever-evolving material, and its uses are anything from high-tech and high-performance fabrics to traditional clothing market fabrics. Recent advances are combining traditional fabric science with new technologies, leading to exciting applications like smart textiles, sportswear, aerospace, and other areas. We also have to consider the ethics of textiles. Often they're grown as monocrops, which are really bad for the environment. Labor is a problem, so sometimes there's child labor and sweatshops involved. Sometimes there are harm to animals. For instance, if you're shearing fibers off of an animal, that may be damaging to them. So first of all, let's talk about the difference between natural and synthetic fibers. So natural fibers, and this is one of the things that we need to focus on if you remember. I'll go back a couple slides here. We need to be able to identify and understand materials that are classified as natural and human-made. So natural fibers, of course, are natural, and these are materials that are produced by plants or animals that can be spun into thread, rope, or filament. Synthetic fibers are made from man-made materials and are spun into thread, the joining of the monomers into polymers by the process of polymerization, and this includes different fibers like polyester, acrylic, nylon, rayon, acetate, spandex, and Kevlar. And we'll talk about this a little bit more. But the big idea with textiles is that you need to start with a filament. So you need to have some sort of thin filament-like material, which you're going to spin into a thread, and then you need to weave that into some sort of cloth. Here's a chart that shows you where different textiles come from and different filaments, really. So for instance, if you look on this side, this is the natural side. If you look on this side, this is the manufactured or man-made side. And this has everything from something like a bast, which is essentially the stem of a plant, to leaves, to seed hairs, to different types of wools, to silk, and then even mineral. And on this side, you can see that we're getting things that are inorganic and organic and different types of synthetic fibers on this side. Natural textiles are produced from plants and animals and can be spun into thread, rope, or filament. And some of their properties are they're flammable because they're natural. They have good absorbency, so they are quite hydrophilic, which means that they like water and they will absorb water. They're easier to dye because the dyes will penetrate the actual natural fibers, but they can have poor resilience. In other words, they can rot. They can be attacked by mildew. They're not dimensionally stable because they are natural, so there's imperfections in all of them. And they actually conduct electricity pretty well. This is a chart that shows you some natural fibers and then a synthetic fiber, this polyester right here. And you can kind of see this is wool. This is what wool looks like. And this is why wool can be kind of scratchy. A more fine wool is going to have smaller scales on it. Alpaca has even smaller scales, and then cashmere. You can see silk is quite smooth, and this is why it feels so nice. Linen also is quite smooth, and this is a cotton fiber right here. And then, of course, we've got the synthetic fiber, which is polyester. But one thing you'll notice is that the polyester is quite dimensionally stable. That means that it's the same all the way from top to bottom. It's got the same cross-section. It's the same thickness. It's the same throughout. Whereas all these other fibers are different. Like this has a scale here, but not here. And so they're different. They're not dimensionally stable. So it's a little bit harder to predict their properties compared to something like a synthetic fiber where you know what you're getting. It's going to be the same every time. Cotton is one of the natural fibers that we have, and it's made from the seed of the cotton plant. So you can see that here. This is cotton seeds, and the fibers are in these seeds. And so you'll pull those fibers out. We have wool, and this is the hair from sheep, goats, alpacas, you name it, anything that has fur. And you saw what those look like in the fiber picture earlier. Linen is a fiber from the phloem, or the bast of the inner bark. It's sometimes called the skin. And this is flax right here. Silk is a fiber that's spun from the chrysalis of a silk moth. And so a silk moth will basically turn into from a caterpillar to a moth, and it spins this cocoon around itself. And when it does that, it spins one very long fiber. And when they unwind these fibers, they can get a very long fiber, which they then spin into thread and then weave that into cloth. Synthetic fibers are man-made materials that are spun into thread. The joining of monomers and polymers is the process of polymerization. We already talked about that. And some properties of synthetic fibers are they resist mildew. They're difficult to dye because they don't absorb water. They're hydrophobic, as you'll see there. They have good resilience, though. They're not easily attacked by different microbes or mold or fungi and things like that. They have thermal plasticity, which means that they can be remelted down into something else. They're dimensionally stable. And like I said, they're hydrophobic, so they don't like to absorb water. This video here will show you how nylon is produced, so I would recommend that you watch it, but it is a fiber that's drawn from the interface of two different chemicals. Polyester is a fiber that's made up of purified terephthalic acid and dimethyl ester and diethyl terephthalate and a monoethylene glycol. So lots of different synthetic materials in there. Now, once you have these long fibers, the thing that you need to do is you need to make them into thread or yarn. This is a long, continuous length of interlocked synthetic or natural fibers. This video shows you how yarn is made from the different fibers, so please watch that. Once you have your yarn, then you need to actually weave. And so weaving is the act of forming a sheet-like material by interlacing long threads passed in one direction with others at a right angle to them. Please watch this video. It'll show you the process of how weaving works. Knitting is another way that we can turn yarn into cloth. So it's a method of converting a yarn from fabric by creating consecutive rows of interlocking loops of yarn. And there's a couple different types of knitting. You can do warp knitting, which is sort of this zigzaggy locking loops, or you can do weft knitting, which is more linear, as you can see here. Another method of creating fabric is lace making, and this is used for decorative fabric, and it's woven into symmetrical patterns and figures. Felting is when you convert yarn into fabric by matting the fibers together. And again, you can watch this video. It'll show you how felting works. E-textiles use electrically conducting thread to make unique and smart fabrics. And you can watch this video here and it'll show you some e-textiles. We do need to pay attention to the ethical considerations of fabrics. So again, child labor is a problem. Often fabric workers work in very low wage jobs. A lot of health and safety risks. There's environmental degradation. You can see this is some pollution spilling into a river, and you get some animal cruelty also to top it all off. Now, let's talk about how these relate to frame, shell, and solid constructions. So it's difficult to find a frame structure with fabric, but you do see it with ropes. So ropes, for instance, these ships right here, they're going to have ropes which tension the mast, for instance. The mast is held in place with the tension of the ropes that are attached to the bow and the stern, and then also on the starboard and port side of the boat itself. And so that's a frame structure there. This bridge is also considered a frame structure, but again, it's difficult to think of a frame structure solely just made out of fabric. What you usually find are shell structures with fabric. So for instance, this, you're right here, you can see the felt on this, and you can think of a tent. A tent is a great example of a shell structure. It does have a frame, but the frame is usually made out of aluminum or some other metal, and then the cloth is tensioned over the top of it. It's difficult to find solid structures that are made out of cloth, but you can impregnate the cloth with resins, and you can make things like fiberglass. And so, for instance, fiberglass, this is an example of fiberglass. So this is going to be a cloth made of fiberglass that is impregnated with resin, and that makes a solid structure. Let's talk about some Advantages and disadvantage of using textiles in your products. So first of all, textiles are often very lightweight and portable. Textiles significantly reduce the product's mass, making them ideal for shell structures like tents, backpacks, and soft luggage. So, those are where you're going to find them in those shell structures. Textiles have good tensional properties. Fabrics can conform to complex 3D curves and be tensioned over a frame. They have good impact absorption and ergonomics. So you can think of padding in fabric or chairs or helmets. And also bulletproof vests and things like that are made out of certain types of fabrics, specifically Kevlar. They're breathable and they have good temperature control. So specific textile weaves can be better and give ventilation to apparel. There's quite a bit of durability and maintenance. High-tech textiles often have a good strength to weight ratio also. Some disadvantages though. Textiles have really low compressive strength. So that would be a disadvantage. You really can't put a load onto textiles. They are susceptible to damage. They can be easily pierced, cut, torn, or abraded. There's material degradation that you have to pay attention to. So many textiles, especially natural fibers, are vulnerable to UV damage and moisture. They require sealing and jointing, creating a complete weatherproof enclosure. A shell requires complex seaming, stitching, and welding. And then, of course, those are weak points that can often cause a leak in that shell. There's limited structural support for large loads. Textiles can be reinforced with resins to create strong composites. The base textile itself is not suitable for primary load-bearing elements, though. All right, thank you for watching.